Clear the street! Law! Law!
Hey.
Law!
Hey, hey.
Law!
Hey. Hey.
Law!
Hey.
Tap!
You are watching.
Based on the 4 names you see on this board right here, tell me, which one aligns with this character the most? If you said martial law, you would be incorrect because this is Forrest. Forrest Law. A good chunk of casual fans would probably just assume that the law that was in Tekken 3 is martial law. He's become such a staple in the Tekken community that many, not all, but many, don't know that martial law wasn't in Tekken 3. It was his son, Forrest. And I wouldn't blame them, to be honest. They have the borderline identical movesets. They look and sound exactly the same. Forrest is basically an echo fighter for Marshall, but yet he hasn't made a single appearance in a mainline game since Tekken 3. Why? Actually, scratch that. Some of y'all, not all by the way, probably wondering, who the hell is this nigga, bro? What the hell are you talking about? What is a Forrest Law? I got you. Let's talk about it. Forrest Law is the son of legendary martial artist and Tekken icon Martial Law. Not only is he the son of Martial, he's also a student of the Martial Dojo, a martial arts dojo created by, you guessed it, Martial Law. I don't know why I felt you should have named it something else like, I don't know, Law Dojo? I guess to each their own, I don't know. He also is a part-time employee of Martial China, a mom and pop dream restaurant also made by Martial Law. Martial China? Martial Dojo? Nigga, what the fuck happened to using your last name? Come on, man. Like, what if Forrest wants to take over? He's gonna have to carry your first name. Forrest actually makes his first appearance in the first Tekken, but more specifically, in Yoshimitsu's ending. In this ending, he's seen playing with a stick on his village, and oh my god, why is he built like that? Yo, what the hell is wrong with this game? You telling me that this is supposed to be a 6-year-old? Yo, he looks crazy. Jesus Christ. A wholesome ending of Yoshimitsu giving his money away to Law's poor village in Tekken 1, completely interrupted by Forrest Law being built like a bodybuilding gremlin version of martial law. This is crazy. Forrest trained with his master and father Marshall at a very young age and became one of the top students in his dojo, with the hopes of joining the King of Iron Fist tournament one day in the future, just like his father. That's probably why he's built like that. However, Martial Law was like, nah, you ain't doing all that without my permission. And Forrest was like, alright, whatever. Damn, bro, no reasoning, you're just gonna accept your fate? I mean, I get it, bro. Fair enough. I got Nigerian parents. It'd be like that sometimes. You just gotta take no and move on with your day. Forrest easily accepted his father's wishes of not registering himself for this tournament, as his father competed in 2 of them until Paul Phoenix showed up. Paul Phoenix is a family friend of the Laws. They trained together and have formed a strong friendship throughout the years. Both were present in the first and second installments of the game, with Marshall choosing not to attend the third one. For those who might not know, the first 2 Tekken games featured a consistent cast of original characters. Tekken 3, however, introduced a new generation of fighters to the infamous King of Iron Fist tournament. Because of this, most of the base roster was replaced with new characters, including some descendants of the original fighters, some entirely new additions, and a few returning faces to really seal the deal. Forrest Law is the son of Martial Law, so when Paul finds out his close friend Marshall isn't going to attend, he convinces his son Forrest to join instead, without his father's permission. Now, when it comes to Forrest's personality, there's a level of humility that one must have in order to fully be able to succeed in patience-based fighting styles like martial arts. And our young fighter does just that. He's very humble, a willing and fast learner, friendly and energetic. He is also pretty overconfident in his skills, especially with how quick he learns compared to the other fighters in the Martial Dojo. So when Paul convinced Forrest to join this tournament, it wasn't for the fact that he was easily swayed by someone like this guy. It was more internal. Is my dad's fighting skills the real deal? I never actually used his fighting style in a competitive nature, only in the dojo against sparring partners. I would like to impress my father enough to where one day I can run the Martial Dojo myself. See Martial Law, like saying Martial Dojo doesn't even sound right. The Law Dojo, man. What are we doing here? Come on now. How proud would he be if I completed this competition and won it by using his style? My father has a lot of expectations from me, and this would be the best way for me to get his respect. I'll read the criticism after from him, but deep down, if I win, I know he'd be proud of me. By the way, he don't win. Now, if you're familiar with the Tekken series, you will know that there's a non-canon ending from every character once you complete the arcade. After beating the final boss in Tekken 3, Forrest returns to the Martial Dojo and trains with his father, Marshall, and Paul. He does a flip and completes it, whilst the other two don't. What the hell is this ending, bro? Does this even mean anything? Like, what does it even stand for? Like, what the hell is this? I'm pretty sure he loses very early on in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 canonically, and is apprehended by law and hasn't returned as a playable character since. However, he does make quite a few cameos after Tekken 3. In Tekken 4, martial law's oppression is caused by his restaurant, Martial China, going out of business. This is made worse when his son Forrest leaves home. He sees the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4 as a way for him to get the money back and help him with his oppression. Though Forrest isn't a playable character in both Tekken 4 and Tekken 5, he does play a huge role in martial law's reasoning of joining the tournament in the latter. Forrest goes on a bike ride with Paul Phoenix and unfortunately suffers a severe accident which leads him to the hospital. I'm not too sure if it was actually in a bike ride with Paul or if Paul just let him borrow the bike himself. Regardless, that nigga is looking like this. Because of the financial burden of both his restaurant filing for bankruptcy and Forrest's standing hospital bills, he believes the King of Iron Fist Tournament is the only way for him to be able to pay off some of these debts. And he don't win, by the way. Paul Phoenix, by the way, he's an awful friend. But I hate niggas like him. So we all know that Paul and Law are good friends to each other, supposedly. You wanna know why this redneck pony ref is an awful friend? In my opinion, this nigga knows about the accident that caused Forrest's injuries. And when Law pleads for his help in Tekken 5, he's like, nah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna help you. Like, I gotta be number one. Listen, if that was me, I would've killed that nigga right there. Bitch, my son is in the hospital. He finna be the number one candidate in heaven. Who gives a shit about number one in the King of Iron Fist? And mind you, Paul doesn't win either. So what the hell is he talking about? According to the Tekken Wiki, he also makes another appearance in Tekken 5, specifically the Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection version, the higher quality expansion released on both the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation 3. In this version of the game, specifically in Lily's story mode, it is seen that she is receiving invites for the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5 after beating the shit out of this nigga and claiming his ticket as her own. And many believe that this nigga right here is Forrest. Me bamba! Now, although the theory does make sense, I do have some belief that this could be another trainee of the Martial Dojo who was also invited for the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5. Because canonically, during this time period, Forrest would have been in the hospital healing after his accidents right before Law joins the tournament. This also takes place in San Francisco, where Law and his family reside, as well as the dojo. So this could be Forrest, and maybe a student from the dojo. I will never know. Forrest also makes appearances in both the Tekken Tag tournament games. In Tekken Tag 1, he's partnered with Paul Phoenix, and their ending is them punching each other in the nuts. In Tekken Tag 2, Forrest Law appears in 3 different endings. His own, Marshall's, and Paul's. In his ending, he's seen riding around the motorcycle with Paul holding the $100 billion check they received for winning the tag tournament. Martial Law old ass was mad as hell at his son for not giving him his money, and possibly the fact that the two was gonna spend it on trivial shit like gambling in Vegas and strippers. We mustn't forget, Law hates rich people.
I hate rich people!
You know, he says that in every single fight. He was not acting out of order here. He was mad at his son because his son is rich. Marshall went crazy after Paul and Forrest returned to the restaurant the next day with all their money gone. Forrest then explains to his father that they had given all the money to victims of a house fire disaster. Despite Paul's reluctance, Forrest insisted in giving the money to the ones that are really in need. So they give all the money to the victims. Marshall, seeing his son's generosity, was proud. Now, I am glad that this kind of kindness was displayed in a game like Tekken. It shows a generous and a more human side to some of these characters. But I know California is expensive and all, but did you have to give them the $100 billion check to get a new house? Think, Forrest, think. 2% of that check could have gone into helping that family. 2%. All you needed was a bank and an ATM, and you could have just used that rest of that money to, go to Vegas and see them strippers. But we all know he's a good kid, pure-hearted, but he gotta be a little street smarter, Like, what the fuck was he thinking? In Law's ending, Forrest is seen admiring his father's use of the nunchaku. He's so inspired that he wants to try it on as well. He attempts to emulate his father, however, he accidentally throws the nunchucks out the window. It must have caused some accident because shit was exploding. Shit sounded like World War III. Niggas died. In Paul's ending, the three of them, Marshall, Forrest, and Paul, were on vacation in Alaska, just breathing the fresh air and enjoying their time. This dude Forrest saw a bear relaxing and was like, oh, hey dad, look, it's Kuma.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
You see a grizzly bear in a random location, you're like, oh man, that is Kuma. Do all bears look the same to you? It actually gets worse. This dude gets a rock and throws it at who he thinks is Kuma. Mind you, if you know anything about Tekken rivalries, you would know that Paul and Kuma are rivals. Like, them two do not like each other. Why would you instigate something like that, Forrest? The hell is your problem? After he tosses the rock, they find out that it's just a random grizzly bear and it starts chasing them. Now, the main question is, why exactly has Forrest not returned to the mainline Tekken games? And will we ever see him come back? Nothing in the story suggests that he wouldn't, other than the fact that he is in the hospital, so canonically, I just feel that the injuries he sustained in Tekken 5 are a lot worse than what we actually expected. Don't forget that story-wise, Tekken 5 to Tekken 8 is only I would say a year and a few months apart. Now, for the actual reasoning, it's probably just the fact that they're clones of each other. Let's be real, it's literally the exact same character. The only notable differences between Marshall and Forrest gameplay-wise come in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. There are some differences in animations with some of their moves, but not enough for them to fully add Forrest as his own character. I'll briefly put a video by Fergus 2K8 discussing the differences between Marshall and Forrest, and link it in the description down below so you can watch it fully for yourself.
So for this episode, we'll go over Marshall Law and his son Forrest, who was the playable Law in Tekken 3, I believe, and it's being Marshall otherwise. So obviously a big difference between them is that Marshall had Dragon Silent Stance, which Forrest didn't have. So this already means that Forrest has limited pressure compared to Marshall, because Marshall can do so much of his stuff, I'm not a Law player, so I'm not going to do this perfectly or anything. But you had stuff like, DSS 4-1, Legend Kick for pressure, quick highs and mids out of it. He had all these DSS pressure that Marshall can do. Now Forrest didn't have DSS at all.
Visibly, they look like twins, with Forrest looking a little bit more youthful in Tekken Tag 2, and Marshall looking a little bit more mature. But other than that, that's really it. I would love for Forrest to return to the Tekken series as the main Law, especially as a Law main myself. I know it sounds crazy, but canonically, Marshall is almost 50. I just don't know for how much longer he can keep up with the youngin. He's not Kazuya or Heihachi. Heck, he's not even Paul. So passing the baton to Forrest, just like he did for Tekken 3, would be a great tribute. Will it happen? The fact that Harada only mentioned his name once on his Twitter since 2011, probably not. Anyways, thanks y'all for watching. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Forrest Law, and if this video gets a good amount of likes, depending on if you guys want to see this, I will make a video fully on Marshall Law as well. That's going to be a real long video, because I think Marshall Law is one of the few characters that have made an appearance in basically every Tekken game besides Tekken 3. So if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other questions, or if you have any characters I'd like for me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below as well. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.